Welcome back to the Get Published course. My name is Michelle. I'm an editor by trade as well as the Director of Operations for Cascadia Author Services. Today, we'll be talking about the all-important step of how to get your book edited. To start, what even is editing? Because I'll tell you right now, it is not part of the self-revisions process, nor is it sending your manuscript off to friends, colleagues, and other beta readers in order to get their feedback. Editing occurs after all of that. It is the professional review of your book by a trained editor who will provide their general suggestions and in-text recommendations to ensure your book is meeting publishing standards. Although you, as the author, still have final say over which of these suggestions to take, your editor, or editors, are there to ensure that your book targets a primary audience, is communicating effectively with that audience, and contains no embarrassing mistakes or errors. In the traditional publishing world, editing is something of an invisible process. You don't often see edited by in a book's copyright page or online information. So self-publishing authors may not realize that every traditionally published book, whether it's Stephen King's next bestseller or the latest Highly Effective Habits, has been through a full editorial process. This results in indie authors releasing books that have not been properly refined before publication and are thus not up to industry standard. If this is you, that can be detrimental to your platform as an author and as an authority in your field. Worse still, you may not be effectively communicating with your target reader. The solution to this one is pretty direct. Ensure your book receives a full editorial process, just like every other traditionally published book. Although the exact process may be broken down into different steps depending on your country of origin and the editors you are working with, your book should be reviewed with 3 focuses in mind: a focus on structure, a focus on style, and a final, technical focus to ensure that there are no errors left in the text. The first editorial focus is commonly called a structural edit, or sometimes a content edit. As the name implies, this edit examines the structure and content of your book, including things like chapter order, themes, and topics of discussion. Your editor will review aspects such as your intended target audience, genre, and format to ensure that all aspects of your book are meeting these standards. The exact process of a structural edit can vary, but usually begins with a discussion between you and the editor. After that, the editor will take some time making their recommendations directly in the text of the manuscript itself, usually using track changes in Microsoft Word or another program's equivalent feature, so that you can easily see the changes they suggest. In a structural edit, this can sometimes include suggestions for rewrites or new material. As such, author involvement in a structural edit is usually very high, and you can expect to take some time making your recommended changes and revisions. After the structural edit is complete, the editorial focus shifts to the elements of style in a line edit, also sometimes called a stylistic edit. This edit is a careful line-by-line review to ensure your text flows smoothly and reads well. Your editor will examine aspects such as descriptions, topic transitions, sentence structure, and word choice to ensure that your book is communicating effectively with your reader. Unlike a structural edit, a line edit does not usually start with any back and forth communication between you and the editor. Instead, it relies directly on the editor's comments in text as well as their recommendations using track changes. It is worth noting that, depending on your editor and where in the world you are, a line edit, as its own separate stage, may not exist, instead getting separated into a structural edit for the larger elements like descriptions and topic transitions, and to our next stage, a copy edit for the little things like sentence structure and vocabulary. What's important is that your book receives all 3 focuses in editing: structural, stylistic, and technical, and that you confirm what a structural edit and a copy edit entail if you are not getting a separate line edit. Of course, this brings us to our final editing stage, a copy edit, which is a final technical review to ensure there are no lingering spelling, grammar, or punctuation mistakes left in the manuscript. It is the final stage before production, and thus it is imperative that your text is locked in before beginning. No adding or removing text after the copy edit. The copy edit is also the step where you are most likely to work with a new editor in order to get a fresh pair of eyes reviewing your manuscript. Once again, recommended changes are made directly in text, and you, as the author, get to review those changes before they are finalized. However, because most of them are just straightforward corrections, Author engagement and effort in a copy edit is usually very low. Once your copy edit is complete, you can feel confident in the final quality and production of your book. Editing will also help you with other stages of the publication process. It helps you with your marketing efforts because you are targeting your primary target audience. It helps generate reviews and sales because by communicating effectively with your reader, you are proving to them the value that your book provides. And it helps prevent costly mistakes that you might have to fix or reprint after publication. Editing is one of the most important steps in publishing, and I encourage you to give your book the edit it deserves. Now, because editing is such an invisible process, you may be wondering what an edited manuscript even looks like. We have included a sample down in the links below, along with an activity challenge to get you practicing using track changes. And if you're entirely unfamiliar about how to use track changes to begin with, we've also included a tutorial for that too. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next video in the Get Published course.